Hey everyone, Corey from Aquarium Co-op. Today we've got new fish again. But first I want to show off some experiments and just how well these little corridoras are doing. They're all growing out. Got some baby super red bristlenose from Dean to put in some of these tanks to help clean. So you can see, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but he's making a difference. He's been here for about a week and he's been working on the sides and all that. But these little babies, just like this one right here, can do really well. So, the new fish I got, so we have got some Wapoga red lasers that I want to try to breed long term. These are like the dwarf neon rainbows with the red lines. And then some brichardi cichlids. These came from Dave's Rare Fish. No affiliation other than I bought from him. No affiliate codes, no discounts, anything like that. Yeah, and also in the 10-gallon racks, I noticed this tank, I lost a guppy, and so I tested it, and the pH had crashed out a little bit, and the cage was down, so I added some crushed coral. I'm real tempted to go back to full-on crushed coral for live bearers, even with well water, because I thought that'd be impossible to crash it, and I tested all the other tanks, didn't crash. So this one, for some reason, crashed. This bad boy that I've been power feeding with all these babies and all the stuff in here, didn't crash. Like, it's perfectly fine. So I can't explain. That's kind of, that's aquarium keeping in a nutshell. Like, what went different in this one? Don't know. So testing different things. But you can see most of the fish, producing some fry. Little babies in there. And I'm in the middle of a bunch of projects. I bought a new 3D printer, or a second one if you're watching Deep in the Mole. If you're a member, you already know, working through that. Printing, testing, doing things. The 150 over here, I added a heater. And so what I would say is, I was having one molly like sitting at the top in all the live streams, all the thing. I'm like, yeah, he's just not happy. And it seems that they are more happy now that I brought the temperature up to 80. So maybe it's just a molly thing. The guppies have been doing their guppy thing and thriving. Everything else has been thriving. Eel's been in there for years. But the actual, molly. So that might be what I'm going at. I'm testing. I'm going, maybe that's part of what I've got going on. Like why the mollies don't thrive here. Because I run at room temp being, 73, 74 and not 80. Calm down, you guys. Calm down. The horde of yellow here. They just, every time I get up, they think, yeah, you're feeding again, right? And they keep mowing the lawn even more. So letting them do it at this point. But yeah, so moving over, lots of kind of projects. If you haven't bought the Magic Nuggets, they're a hit. Read their reviews online. I'm testing out some new spoon size. I'm hoping, in the next year or so, to offer some different size spoons in containers, depending on the type of food that it is, and then maybe sell them as well. So I'm testing. If you're wondering, right now I'm using this is half a teaspoon. Is this half a teaspoon? I think it's 1 teaspoon. It's 50 cc, whatever that is. I think it's half a teaspoon, and this is, I think, 1/4 of a teaspoon. I'd have to look. Do I have the things I bought them in? Of course not. That'd be useful. So, another experiment that's going on, you may have noticed on the other tank, is this UVB, this reptile heat lamp bulb. And what I'm noticing is the guppies are concentrating under it if I don't walk up to them, but they'll sit there and bask. Where'd this come from? Well, the Aquarium social group, that little group of people that I hang out with once a month and talk fish, one of them, no, that's not true. It's actually 3D printer guy. Sorry, that was a different, there's a project from them over here I'll show you. But 3D printer guy, as I call him, he found a Medaka ricefish video where they were using this, and he got great results from his Medakas indoors with them. So then I said, well, I want to try it on other fish. And so I kind of love this spotlight effect anyway. And it's only been on here for less than a week, but the fish look good under it, and we'll see if it grows algae. But I want to know, what is the magic for the Medakas? Candy overhauls, the customer service manager put them on her rice fish, got eggs 24 hours later after not getting eggs for months and months and months. So there's something there, but I want to know if there's something there for other fish as well. Man, these Bleheri Rainbows are starting to look pretty good. These ones did come from Imperial Tropicals, and I'm hoping to breed them, but the coloration, got boys and girls there. You can see the paradise fish, they're being rowdy. Once it warms up, it snowed yesterday. Once it warms up, then, I'm hoping to put them outside and breed them in ponds. And then let's take a trip down here to new fish. Ooh, I can grab my wheelie stool. Over here we've got Cyprichromis. These are the black bee jumbos, as they're going to be. Right now they look like nothing. These fish came from Dave's Rare Fish also. They're expensive fish. So 10 of these are going to another person, so not me. So I get to keep 10, they get 10, and another person got 10. We did a group buy. Yes, even the store owner and owner of Aquarium Co-op will do group buys because sometimes you just want fish. This fish was like $32 each. They're not cheap, and they're rare, and I couldn't buy them wholesale, so why not share shipping? And so I ended up driving down to the airport to grab them, and the shipping was $78 for all the fish that we ordered. So the group of rainbows, the Wapoga red laser, these guys, and the brichardi I got. So, and then I still got to get a group to the other person, but the other person was sick for the last little mini get-together in someone's living room. And so, I'm just feeding them up. So, so far, I would say had a good experience. One experience with Dave's Rare Fish was good. That's all I got. Over here, I can show you something I'm testing. We're just going to slide down on the wheelie stool. So a couple of things. This is a very small feeder that we're testing. Well, it's our feeder with extra parts, 3D printed parts. This is actually pretty cool. So if I hit the feed button back here through this matrix of stuff, which it's automatic obviously, but in the video you want to see it. If I hit the feed button by touch here, you see how it's putting out just a little bit. So it's kind of a lot for this container, and I could, work on that part, but it fits our little trays we're playing with. And there's some Corridora, I don't know if you can see them in there. There's orange laser Corridoras in there. So, I just dropped more food in. But this could be a nice thing for when I have to travel. So playing with that, 3D printed parts. And then this is the aquarium group. The like the 6 or 8 people that we get together in someone's living room, basically. One of them linked a study on separating fry from guppies, and we kind of ran with it and started 3D printing it. So the premise would be there's a female in here, which we're on micro scale. So this is not long term, so don't do this. Like, this is too small for a female long term. The goal is proof of concept, then make it bigger, and then maybe someday we'll sell them or something. But so there's a female guppy right there, right in the far right corner. We've got water dripping through at the moment, but it's gonna suck the babies through the bottom basically, and the airlift system. I'll pinch this so that way this light is about to fall off. Come on, stay up there. So we're using the easy airlift, right? So it lifts air and water. That's what you're seeing there. And the fry would be out in here. So that way, the goal was that the study said that it was a 10x multiplier. If you had 10 fry survive, you'd have 100 fry survive if you can get them away from the parents right away. And so, in this tank, you can see, we're making fry, right? We're making babies. They're in here, right? 40-gallon breeder. But if each female is supposed to have 50 babies, you could see there's not even 50 fry in here, but there's multiple generations. Yeah, they're preying on their own babies. This is a monster Amano shrimp, by the way. You see this thing? Specimen. So if we can get it to where like, oh yeah, well, all 50 babies would make it, and we would net them out, and I'm working on that ease of use. But yeah, so it's fun to hang out with other nerds and come up with solutions to problems that may or may not exist. I did notice in here the other day that there are fry. So you can see these are trout goodeids. Did you watch our goodeiid talk from Rick Borstein? Members only club, $5 a month. We hire a speaker to speak on something they are professional at. And these are some trout goodeids here. Or, sorry, not trout goodeids. Xenotoca Eiseni. And but they are goodeids. And they are livebearers, but they have umbilical cords, and they have fewer fry that are larger. They can also go much cooler water. Some of them are really good hair algae eaters. And yeah, but I did notice at feeding time that there was a few fry. The problem I find is when you have really good cover, you also don't get to see your fish. So while it makes fish, you also don't get to see them as often, which can be a big bummer. But yes, I have seen them in here, and you can see some of these pygmy corridoras chilling down here, which we never get to see. If they ever move. They're so good at hiding. Oh, there's one of the fry that's grown out. He's coming up towards the front here. There he is. So that guy is probably a month old at this point. But they hide. You see how it's just like gone? So fish are really good at picking up on us. So the minute we walk up, they hide. And so that's why it's like, why don't you see them all the time? Like, why don't sit and look at tanks going, do I have fry? I just assume. I know livebearers basically do. And then you've got dad chasing one of the moms around the whole time. But she's looking pregnant. I could separate her out if I needed to. Been feeding more. Most of you would say, how could you be feeding more? You already feed a ton. But starting to get some big pregnant females here. I will say I'm noticing a little bit of fin scuzz. If you look at this female kind of in the center here, see how there's a little bit on the fin? Like that could be a little bit of bacterial infection starting. She could be getting harassed nonstop from the males. So a lot of times what I'll do, well, I'll just do it on camera because I tell you guys, but I don't show it always. But what I would do on something like this, knowing that I have a livebearer, is, well, something could happen in there. I'm not going to throw meds in. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab some salt. And I'm going to use, you can use aquarium salt. In this particular case, because of the livebearer, I'm going to use the Easy Brine Shrimp salt because I want to buffer up pH. I actually wonder, okay, I'm going to test the water too. Where's my test strips? They're coming on the adventure with me here. I wonder if I'm like crashing pH. I know the pH or the hardness will change. Where are these test strips at? Lots of foods, potty pads, because I have the dogs out here, puffer book, lots of stuff. Let's see, over by my garbage. They were by my desk. Who would have thought? So, I do know that the well water will change, and we've had an absolute ton of rain lately, like crazy amounts, like 1.5 inches in a day, right? And so I don't know if that a few weeks ago is now what's affecting my water table today. Let's kind of do some analysis. See what the pH is doing in here. But in my opinion, you basically can't have too much hardness and well, I mean you can, but I want lots of pH and lots of hardness for my livebearers. And salt will fight off bacteria. And so you kind of get both of those from the aquarium brine shrimp salt. I mean, to be honest, it's looking pretty good. So I don't think that's the culprit, other than, like if we compare here, the buffer is stout. Like that. Great buffer, great hardness. So this one I don't consider to be crashed. Like the pH didn't crash. But either way, I'm still going to put some of the brine shrimp salt in there because it'll perk up a fish like that when you just like, something's not quite right about you. And so one thing you can do, I repurpose things. Here's a magic small fish feed, aka yeah, small fish. I was going to call it nano, but yeah, here's one of the originals. I use it as a scoop. And I don't put necessarily all of that in there, but I'll open the top, kind of sprinkle some in. And just like that. That was probably like a tablespoon. And if you were doing normal salt, you'd put much more in. But with this, because it's going to buffer everything and bring minerals in, you don't want to go crazy town on it. Also, if you don't put a lot of salt in, you don't harm the plants. So I find that even when you have just healthy fish, 1 teaspoon, so a third of a tablespoon of, basically saltwater salt, marine salt, per 20 gallons does wonders. So I basically just put a very medicinal dosage in there, and it'll help perk these guys up in my experience. So hopefully that wasn't horrible on the camera because we were sitting right in front of the air blowing. But so you can see here, these mollies, the females seem to be thriving. That one male's a little skinny. That one's nice. These came off Aquabid, but they're at the room temp, and these guys haven't had any like, they don't have any lethargic, and like all the balloon mollies I've done have done well. It's just like that one group back there that didn't like being cooler. So, always trying to figure things out in my own fish room. But yeah, I'm hoping. Can you see the blue iridescence in this female? There's a strain of molly that I want. It's like the electric blue molly, and this molly has some of that gene in it. And I'm hoping to breed said mollies or get fry out of them without these rainbow sniping them. And yeah, so what else do I got going on in here? There's probably a million little projects and little things I'm working on. I should probably do my job at this point. My job would tell you guys, hey, buy the magic nuggets. I'm going to open them up and show you and feed some. If you watched the last video, you saw them before they were called magic nuggets. Okay, this is just spinning as I do this. Not very good for camera. There we go. So you can take them and you can just feed them like that. And that's what I do to big tanks. So like, it's going to be really hard to do one-handed, but I do like 5 or 6 scoops of these in the 800 gallon. And then like these guys over here, I'll do 3 or 4 scoops. I can do this one one-handed because I can set the container down. So grab a scoop, and we put these for these Shubunkins. Usually like 3 or so, maybe. Oh, I just spilled it trying to do it. Here's 4 for the camera. So as you can see, they'll float and sink depending on if they hit the flow. And you can see they're like kind of neutrally buoyant like the Magic Small Fish Feed, where they're kind of like dangling mid-water. But you also get some that'll go to the bottom for your Corridoras. We'll see if we can hang out a little bit here and get the giraffe cat to come out. In fact, I'm going to grab the wheelie stool, and we'll just talk about goldfish for a little bit till it comes out, because I got to be real still to get him to come out on camera. If I sit down like at this chair, it'll be fine, but you won't be able to see it on camera. So Bristol Shubunkins should have this nice kind of tail shape to them. The 2 lobes. Let's see if this guy will turn around and kind of show us. And they get about, oh, there we go. How you doing? Look at this beast. This thing's going to get 3 feet. I'll have to go in the 800 gallon. But it basically is a vacuum cleaner. It'll hoover everything and it comes out its gills. Will you let me get close enough to film you, bud? Will you allow that? You can see it coming out its gills underneath it. As people often say, only a face a mother could love. I love giraffe catfish, but I love gentle giants. So like Mubu puffers, gentle giant. This flagtail Procholotus up here, Alice in Wonderland fish, also gets about 18 inches to 2 feet. Gentle giant, mostly an algae eater and eats pellets. you can see the majority of these pellets are floating, right? You still see them coming down and floating mid-water. So this is one use case of just feeding them whole, where you just put them in and fish eat them. And this is a perfect size for African cichlids and goldfish and even these bigger fish. So often people want big fish food for big fish. And it's like, well, as an adult, do you eat cheeseburgers in one bite? As a kid, you took bites. And as an adult, I take bites of cheeseburgers. I don't need the cheeseburgers to get bigger. If anything, you would just want more cheeseburgers. And that's the way I treat fish food of like, sure, we're not going to put in just Magic Small Fish Feed dust. That doesn't make sense. But at a certain point, it's much easier to have these be bite size for the animals you're feeding here. And so, yeah, just enjoyable. You can even see like now the bristlenose is coming out, getting some snackies. Chicken nugget time. Gosh, I love this fish. Leopard, you know, kind of that spotted print and just brown, even though it's not fully, you know, it doesn't have a ton of color like that guy, but I just love this fish. And that's why I'm kind of letting the cichlids destroy the plants over there. Because when I move it, this guy will just, he'll throw gravel when he's big, like a foot away from him. It's like a shop vac going. Fun fish. Not practical for the average person. And ugly to most people, but I find it fascinating. They follow hippos in the wild and eat their giant poop. Like, how's that for an animal? Like, oh, that's my job. I eat hippo poop. That's what I do. Yeah. So you can look at the finnage here. Like this guy, not good goldfish finnage. Droopy tail, can't carry his tail. That's what they call it. This guy, nice big body. Fins not, I mean, they're nice and erect, good, but not show winners or anything, nothing to write home about. This guy I like quite a bit, where he's kind of got some good finnage, good kind of marbling. He's holding his tail okay. You know, so each fish's got its own pluses and minuses, but just having Bristol Shubunkins, this was on my, oh man, I wish I could get some of those list for many, many years now. So... yeah. Okay. Let's keep feeding. Let me keep back to do my job. If I got paid to only look at fish, that's what I would do. But I gotta do things. That 3-foot catfish he would eat like 8 ounces of this, half a thing every day if I let him. So here's what we could do. We could do the 800-gallon real quick. Let me grab the lid, and I'll feed the 800-gallon like I was gonna normally feed here. So it comes with a little packet to keep the air out. And then, so I would do like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe like 5. It depends on the day, how I'm feeling. So like that much food goes in. And then these guys, they just know instantly. I'm going to try to throw it in so they don't splash us. But then the madness, the feeding frenzy happens. And all the fish just go to the top. They'll grab it. Even the bottom dwellers, you can train them. Yes, food will drop to the bottom. And yes, the babies down here waiting for the scraps. And the reticulated hillstream loaches. Yes, there's reticulated hillstream loaches with African cichlids. Yes, I'm a crazy man. Here's another one. Yes, they've done just fine. I don't think I've lost any. But yeah, that much food is gone already. Well, I mean, there's obviously a few pieces over here, but everyone got a bite or two. So that's how you would handle the big fish, right? So then we go to, let's look at this tank right here. So we've got fry and guppies. This is where I take the fingers and I pinch it because it will crumble. And you can crumble it down real fine or not. So you can see there's all different sizes there. And then like the nuggets will be too big. If I just put nuggets in here, those are too big for those fish. You see how they're trying to choke them down? Like I could eat an apple in one bite. That's not preferred. You're making the fish fight for them and chew. Where if I take the same amount of food and I go, here, let's turn it so you can just grab it now. I think that's a better way to feed a lot of fish. You can do the same thing with the corridoras here. I kind of just put the mix, so you get a few chunkers that fall, then the rest. And but you can also just feed it whole. Like guppies and everything will eat just full. You can put it in that way, but I don't like the basketball in the mouth when I could do this. And now I've got all the sizes. So that's what the magic nuggets do. I mean, that's enough of a sales pitch. Look how good these guys grew up to be. You guys watch those be born? Yeah, so a lot of times what I'll do is I actually go around with the magic small fish feed and the nuggets, and I just give the little tap of like a spoon I have. I just go, you get a few, you're going to get a few up here. These guys get a bit more. So I just tap, 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 tap. And those guys get those. You guys get some. Little taparino. And that's what I do. Because there's still like, in here, there's still baby rainbows and things that can't eat that. Well, I mean, they can if I smash it up. But I guess my logic is, why smash it up when I can buy both and it makes it easier? So then if I do the one-handed open on camera, which is great content, maybe I'll just... All right. So now... So this one comes with this little scoop. That works well for small tanks. I feed pretty heavy though. So I grab this scoop that I buy, and hopefully we'll supply at some point. And I'll come back in and I'll go, yeah, just have this. And that will dispense itself. And then like these guys, I do this move where I've got just a small rainbow fish fry. And then like these guys want to feed midwater, so they get some. I'll put a little bit in here. And like the big tank here, it gets one scoop of each because we've got fry. So like look at the fry hanging out in the weeds. You see those little babies swimming back there? If I only put the big nuggets, they won't get to eat. And so I'll come in and I'll do like, here, have this, right? And I get that going. And normally I would do the whole room. Then I would come back and grab the other size, but on camera for effect here. See if I can give you guys like vertigo or something. Then I also grab a scoop of this and I go, here you go. And we close that so the eel doesn't jump out. And then we grab a chair. And then we stare at Corey's algae. And this is how I feed. So now you got the bigger chunks in every level of the tank. They're at the top, they're at the bottom, they're at the middle, right? And they're staying kind of neutrally buoyant. You see how they're floating upwards? Then you've got all the tiny food also doing the same thing. And so if we go back and we look back here, see if I can get any of the baby fish on camera. It's focusing on foods, but all the baby fish back there are getting little snacks. And that's what we want. The whole goal is, in my opinion, to feed all the fish. And so when you have all this baby food, you don't realize a lot of the time, like we started at the beginning of the video, when you have fry hidden in the weeds, you don't even know that they're not coming out to get a snack. Right? So you can have it on every level. And there's plecos in here. There's all the orange lasers we keep pulling eggs from. They hide all day. If I sit here long enough, they'll come out. Everyone always asks, this is an Elipsifer eel from Lake Tanganyika. He mostly, well, I say mostly, he will only eat frozen. I got to go get frozen for him eventually. But there's the Siamese algae eaters coming. Those are the crosshatch ones. And they're helping fix this problem, this algae problem. They're working on it for me, so that's nice of them. We also put some orange Amano shrimp in here. You can see there's a bristlenose coming out. Maybe. Bristlenose coming out. But yeah, and I know this looks like a lot of food, but I'm trying to also use scoops because if I just feed, you go, oh my God, that's more food than I've ever seen. And then you go, sure, but like the scoop of this magic small fish feed was like the size of one algae wafer. And it's a 150-gallon tank. So visually, it looks like a lot. But, you know, it's like a bag of potato chips. If I sprinkle that on the ground, you're going to go, there's chips everywhere. You take the same weight in a piece of steak, and you'd be like, it's this big. It's not very much. So, yeah, you can see up here, molly fry and guppy fry eaten from the margins. And I think that's the big thing that a lot of people miss. They'll drop food in the front of their tank, and they're not realizing all the fish they have at all the levels of the tank, in all the nooks and crannies, all the babies, all the shrimps, all the snails. Yeah, that eel's going, by now, usually you put the bloodworms in. Come on. Where are the bloodworms? All right, I'll get the bloodworms for you guys because I love watching them eat too. We can do it together. Been building some 3D printer filament dryers. That's what I've been working on. Grab some bloodworms right here. Yeah, see, they've mostly finished they've mostly finished it all. I would say mostly. But yeah. So now I usually put like 4 of these in here because if not, a big molly will grab his food and he gets sad. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. And no, I don't thaw them. They just thaw out here in a minute. Now I set these down right here. Actually, I never set them down because I'll forget. But don't let me forget. Oh, I put the foil in. See what happens when you get one-handed? I got a piece of foil right there now. But he can smell them. He knows. I say he. It could be she. I don't know. He'll start doing some laps around the tank, and he's waiting for them to fall. Meanwhile, guppies and swordtails and things, they'll grab a bite of them. But once they come down, he's going to be on them. Such a fun, cool fish. Expensive fish. I want to say I paid $200 and some and then had to fly it in. But it took me 8 years to find another one. My first one got bit mortally from the Mubu puffer I had, Hank, on accident. They both went for the same piece of shrimp. And Hank's eyes, he looked at it, then he turned to grab the food, and out came the eel right in the rocks. So, yep, just waiting for food. There we go. It's starting to fall. So now that it's thawing and falling, it'll fall not on camera. Thanks. They're falling to the back. We'll get it. Well, he'll get them. But yeah, sitting on top of the plants there. This one we can get in position for this one. Now the rams they don't want to eat off the top, so now see, he's going, I could take this pizza home. I'll spread these around. I'm helping. And now the eel's going, hey bud, you're dropping my french fries. Go back. Yeah, you kind of, some fish you really have to target feed, because like this guy, if he had to compete for food, he'd starve to death. He'll find it. You know it's in there. This guy eventually can get up to about 30 inches long. They don't get much more round or anything. So like a fire eel will be as big around as your arm, and those, need much bigger tanks. This guy, not so much. He's more maneuverable. Are you gonna eat, or are you just gonna make me look bad on camera? Every time I'm at the desk, I can watch him eat. I don't know if he's just clued in on me or what today. The alpha red swordtails having a little meeting over here, discussing dinner options. I've wanted to end the video for like the last 3 minutes, but I feel like we were so invested this guy needs to eat on camera. Yeah, get back there. They're right behind you. And no, the eel doesn't eat other fish or anything like that. He just sniffs them and... Alright, he found it now. He's back there. He's, oh, I bumped into it finally. Oh, here's the bloodworms. Thanks, Dad. See if I get a better level. See him just eating them. So yeah, some of these animals are, I'm going to try to get a better angle. Some of these animals are finicky. He will only eat frozen no matter how hard I try. He's derpy. I got to feed the whole tank, and then I can feed him, and then he can eat. But that's the hobby's for, right? Keeping derps. Little derpy fish. Expensive, eccentric. Yeah, so he'll polish off that cube, then he'll go find another cube. But if I don't feed the other foods first, all the other fish are on him, and then he doesn't get any. So I have to feed the dries first. Or just tons and tons and tons of bloodworms. And so this is one of the few, I think it's the only fish I have left in the fish room that needs special food. You know what I mean by that is like, when I'm out of town, whoever's feeding, like, yep, you have to feed bloodworms over there. It's almost like he wants to take some of that magic nuggets. If he would take nuggets, then I would feel so much better. A dry food would help. So one of the reasons you want a dry food in your rotation is the vitamin pack. So even though our foods are only 6 ingredients, there's that big laundry list of vitamins, and those vitamins make sure you're going to stay healthy. And this, yeah, they're eating bloodworms, but there's only so many vitamins in bloodworms. I really want, a diversified diet would be great. So yeah, this wiggle worms is going to do this for like the next hour, eating. The little wiggle worm. All right, well, I've stolen your lunch break or your dinner or your afternoon or your night or your morning long enough. And I got to finish feeding the rest of the fish because, now they're all hungry. Thanks for hanging out. Check out reviews on our foods and other things. If you feel like supporting us, we would love it. If you can't, I understand that too. You might be in a different country, financial situation, might have a different thing you love. That's all fine. Ooh, I heard it. All right. Bloodworms going in other tanks or back in the freezer before I forget. If you forget these out, don't put them back in after a few hours. They will get your fish sick. So I'll probably just feed these out. There's only 5 more cubes. All right. We'll see you around. Thanks for hanging out.